Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Buchanan City Commission, Monday, January 26, 2026. At this time, I'd like to go through some recognition with the Buchanan Police Department. And Harvey, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of insight into the significance of the awards and the story behind them. I think that the commissioners and the community would enjoy that narrative, if you don't mind.
Right. So, law enforcement departments have always had a tradition of recognizing officers that go above and beyond their duties and things like that. And so they have various different kind of awards that can be recognized. So a couple of awards, one you'll see is meritorious service, meaning that they perform their duties at great risk to themselves, but making sure that they keep the public safe. We have life-saving award where in the course of their duties they were able to save someone's life. And then we talk about letters of commendation. What we're meaning here is that they've done something that is a little bit more above than just a regular kind of duty performance, and things that should bring attention to that. And so that's what we have tonight. And of course, within our award system, we also recognize the civilian population as well in their assistance for us doing our duty and things like that. And so you see that letter of appreciation for one of our departments that really help us in maintaining the safety of the city and things. Right? So what I'll do is I'll go through and read the notation of why they're getting the award. Will that work?
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Harvey.
Yes,
Could
sir.
you pretend you're at the pulpit and put that microphone up a little higher so we can hear better?
You want me to preach for you?
Yeah, not preach, act like you are.
I'll do that too. You want me to lay hands on you? All right. So the first award, we're dealing with a Medal of Meritorious Service. This is going to be for Officer Duncan Gast. And on September 17, 2025, Officer Gast was on patrol in the city of Buchanan when dispatch provided an area broadcast of a carjacking incident that had occurred on Niles Buchanan Road at the US 1 bridge. Officer Gast shortly thereafter located the vehicle involved in this incident at the Marathon gas station. Officer Gast conducted a felony stop and was able to arrest the subject involved without incident. Therefore, Officer Gast is awarded the Meritorious Service for his exceptional service to the city of Buchanan.
Did you want to?
Yeah, you have to come.
You want to do the present? I didn't know if you wanted to present all of them individually, or if you wanted to present you.
What would be easier for you?
I mean, I think if we present them all at the same time, I
Okay.
think that would be fantastic.
Very good. All right. Moving on.
That's fine.
Next is the Medal of Meritorious Service. At some point, we will have medals to pass out, but this will work for now. This will go to Officer Corey Reed. On December 30th, 2025, Officer Reed was on patrol in the city of Buchanan when dispatch provided an air broadcast of a stolen vehicle that fled the police officers in Mishawaka and South Bend, Indiana. Officer Reed later located the stolen vehicle in the 800 block of Brian Earson, and with the assistance of deputies from the Marion County Sheriff's Office, 2 subjects were arrested without incident along with seizure of controlled substance. Therefore, Officer Reed is awarded the Medal of Meritorious Service for his exceptional service to the city of Buchanan. Next is our Life-Saving Award. And this is going to be awarded to Officer Angela Baggett. On January 2nd, 2026, Officer Baggett was dispatched to 121 West Row Street for a male subject who was not alert and unresponsive. Officer Baggett assisted the situation and found that the subject to have agonal breathing in a small bathroom. With the assistance of SMAC, the subject was repositioned and she began providing breaths to him. This continued until he was stable enough to be transported to the hospital. The subject remains hospitalized and is alive today. Therefore, Officer Baggett is awarded the Life-Saving Award for her exceptional service to the city of Buchanan. Next is a letter of commendation. This is going to be awarded to Officer Dominic Klein. On January 1st, 2026, Officer Klein was dispatched to a medical assist call at 111 Clark Street in the city of Buchanan during extreme weather conditions. He remained with the residents until the ambulance arrived. The resident expressed that his presence brought relief. I really appreciate that. I am so grateful for our officers and EMS for doing their jobs and getting here quickly and safely. Therefore, Officer Klein is awarded the letter of commendation for his exceptional service to the city of Buchanan. Next, another letter of commendation. This is going to be to Officer Caitlin Cook. On October 1st, 2025, Officer Cook and gas were dispatched to 602 South Redwood Trail in the city of Buchanan for a probate pickup order. The resident was uncooperative and refused to come out of the home. Despite being in field training, Officer Cook was able to calmly and professionally talk to the resident, thereby de-escalating the situation, resulted in him peacefully surrendering for treatment. Therefore, Officer Cook is awarded the letter of commendation for exceptional service to the city of Buchanan. And last but not least is our letter of appreciation. This is going to be to our department, or our Buchanan City Department of Public Works. For the past several months, the Buchanan City Department of Public Works tirelessly maintained the city streets during adverse weather conditions to ensure vehicular and pedestrian safety. Therefore, the certificate of appreciation is awarded to the Buchanan City Department of Public Works for their outstanding service and dedication to the city of Buchanan.
Congratulations.
Officer Buchanan.
No, you're good.
We'll do this.
Yeah, perfect guy.
You wanna-
Do one at a time?
I was gonna do one at a time and then, yeah, or however you guys wanna do.
Do one at a time and then one at a time.
Then we'll do everybody. That's a great one. Perfect, guys. Thank you.
All right, you gotta come this way.
Exactly.
This guy, really? Do we have to do this one?
Oh my God. Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
Out there with the family members up.
Yep.
Officer Baggett? Thank you. Officer Baggett?
Sorry.
Appreciate it.
I was looking at somebody else.
Thank you, everybody. Very good, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Andy.
Officer Klein?
Officer Baggett.
He got dressed up for this.
You missed the memo.
Great job, Tom. Thanks, bud. You're good. Thank you.
Dominic, go down to the lake. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Officer got your uniforms, everything else.
Dan can't move, so you gotta go.
Thank you so much.
Great, you guys, perfect.
Thank you so much, absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations, thank you.
I was already gonna say nice things, and now I gotta like do some kind of word.
Not really, I mean,
We don't tell him when things.
Hey, you guys are getting so close in here.
Chief, you mind if I get one?
You might
know each other for 3 years.
Can you guys all come up real quick?
Guys, can we get one more with all of you? Just Mike, thank you very much.
Group photo for the newspaper.
Exactly.
So you wanna be in the picture?
No.
In one of the pictures?
Michael, one more.
When you gonna get the antiques done?
Yeah.
I just see your
That all worked. I'm quite excited. Whoa. There you go, Raper. Perfect, guys.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
Kirsten's signed ordinance.
Mike, he stands up on the thing so they can see.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
The thing about, yeah, but just, it's only two or three. It's always just two or three. And they probably don't even live in this, do you know who they are?
I don't. I'll tell you, I'll talk to you after the meeting. I got some list.
Okay, and now that everybody sat back down, if you could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United Thank you, everybody. And tonight's invocation, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, officers.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, officers. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Well, tonight being the last Monday of January, Black History Month, I was thinking about our former mayor and first black African-American mayor, Barbara Clark. And I would just think, the memories came back, remember her sitting right there in that chair. So honoring her memory, that was here too. Father God, thank you for officers, that you keep them protected. Lord, as they go out, thank you for the honor that this community has given them. Father, thank you for the honor and respect that this board deserves also. That, Father, you would place your wisdom upon them and direction and guide them in the future. Thank you for what has been done and what will be done. Thank you for your hand upon them in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, at this time, we'll take roll call.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Present.
George,
Here.
Money,
Present.
and Bianski.
Yes.
Reform.
Thank you. At this time, I will take a motion on approving the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will take public comment on agenda items only. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and approach the podium and state your name for the record. Okay, seeing no one approach the podium, we will move on. Okay, on the consent agenda, I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
This is Money. I'd move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, moving on to scheduled matters from the floor. Audit presentation presented by Brian Hake, CPA from Krugel and Lawton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to be back. My name is Brian Hake here with Krugel Lawton, as you mentioned, to present the audit for the year ended June 30, 2025. And obviously, the presentation's a little bit different format this year. I'll give some kind of general comments, just some highlights of the audit, present a few slides that present kind of some numbers, laying out the financial, maybe some highlights of the city's finances for the year. And then glad to take any questions. Feel free to stop me too during, but my presentation will be pretty brief. Okay, so just to step into the first slide here. So the audit was a bit more involved this year than it was last year for a number of reasons. Obviously, a great deal of projects going on at the city, numerous new grants with different funding structures, different funding sources as well. This audit included a single audit, which is technically a separate audit apart from the financial statement audit. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And as it relates to the single audit, we had some challenges from the federal government side. There was a federal government shutdown. We, to complete the single audit, rely on what they call a compliance supplement. They didn't release that due to the shutdown until about late November, so that kind of gave us a little bit of a time crunch. But we got through it. It was all fine. Management, we can't say enough thanks to everyone involved in responding to our many requests and getting us the information we need. Excellent job by them. So, to the first point there, and this is the most important thing really that comes out of an audit every year. On the financial statements, we've issued unmodified opinions, which means we completed the audit successfully and the statements are fairly presented. So that's otherwise known as a clean opinion, and that's the highest level we can give. The single audit, Obviously, as I mentioned, that was new this year. That was due to some federal funds being involved to the degree that a federal single audit was required. And similar outcome on that, no findings on the single audit, and we issued an unmodified opinion on the one and only major program, which was related to that downtown infrastructure project. And just some kind of key points, already mentioned the infrastructure. One medium to high importance accounting standard came out, that was GASB 101, worked with management to get that implemented. Okay. Again, these are some financial kind of metrics. A lot of this is focused on the general fund, but the first of these is the expenditures by activity. And just, these kind of speak for themselves, but I'll give a little kind of editorials, so to speak, about these. So general government, you can see just over 30%, and then public safety was actually the largest, and that tends to be the case at this city. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. These percentages really depend on the funding sources and the kind of financial structures, maybe other millages, other funds, to defray the costs of the general fund and the services provided.
I want to stop you right there, because
Yes.
the thing about it is, it's always a problem, and I researched this really hard.
Yes.
But isn't this pretty much the case throughout the state? 40 to 50% of the budget goes to safety, which includes fire.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. There's not a cut and dried answer for that, as you probably saw in your research, and we've actually communicated with the state. We would love for them to aggregate the data. Obviously, we have a bunch of clients, and I would love to have aggregated data from them to say, here's what's at least the mean. They haven't done that yet. They said they're working on a thing like that, but it really is case by case at this point.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks for that question. I think I've inadvertently, okay. So this is the same information, but going back in a 5-year trailing perspective. So you can see that right-hand column is the current year. And again, the numbers kind of speak for themselves, but just to point out, the buckets are relatively consistent year to year. And really, one other thing that we noticed in putting this together, that bottom bucket is the general government. That kind of spiked a little bit in '22 and has gone down actually the last couple of years, for what that's worth.
There's that. I mean, it's the truth.
All right, so the next one is actual compared to budget. And the blue columns you can see are the actual, red columns are the budget. And this slide, all I would say about this is it looks basically like you would want it to. So statute requires your expenditures to be less than budget, which is what you can see in that middle column. Actual is less. Revenues were a little over budget. You also like to see that. And that leaves the fund balance at a higher place than was budgeted. Just two more here, and these two are fairly similar. So this is the actual fund balance of the general fund. Again, pretty visually self-explanatory. Took a dip there in 2023 and has come back since that point in 24 and 25. And I could add editorial comments on why, but that is the fact of what the general fund has done. And this last slide is similar. So this is months of operations. This is that metric that we talk about. How many months can that fund operate based on current year expenditures? And it looks similar. Again, dipped in '23, and then in '24 came back up to 8.2, '25 this year up to 9.9 months.
And this is a really important slide. I think the board should pay attention to. This is a target we've been trying to hit as a group when we've had these work sessions the last couple of years to get back to. You get to a point where if you save too much, then it could be considered overtaxation, right? When you get past that 12-month window. So it means we're maximizing the dollars that are being taxed to our citizens. We're putting it to use.
obviously a tribute to the commissioners and to management. That's positive financial, kind of certainly an uptick in the last couple of years. So any questions on any of that? I know, so I wasn't gonna go through the statements. We went through those in quite a lot of detail with the finance committee. I'm happy to take questions now or really any time of the year if we can help. We're glad to help.
I'll make a couple comments. So a few other points here that I think would be important to talk about a little bit. So for the board's edification, the finance committee, which is Mark and myself, the finance team and Tony, had the pre-meeting on the audit, same audit you have here today. We were very pleased with the results we have. Brian made a few other comments in the meeting. I think Courtney had been ahead of the ball on, I'll let you speak to the importance of what she was working on here, and then if you could speak a little bit about what we talked about regarding our pension funding and how that's going to fluctuate and in the place we're really in compared to our peers.
Yes, so I've generally mentioned management was great. To give more explanation and color to that, yes. Courtney in particular, it's great to have the continuity, the same people doing the same thing and really improving every year is what we've seen. And Courtney has impressed me personally. We go to a lot of clients and talk about, say that GASB 101, the accounting standard, and we get, glossy eyes because people don't even know they're not aware of that. And she was aware of that and she was proactively asking questions. Hey, I know about the standard, am I implementing this correctly? So that's really great to stay on the front end instead of us, having to tell management how to do that. She's doing that herself.
Is this your third year?
It's my third year. I think it's more than that for a firm.
I think so.
Firm's been down here
But
4
Brian's
years.
been with us for 3, yeah.
Well, I wanna say too, it's very legible. It's way better than what it was when I was in, 2014, 2018. I had some pretty serious people that couldn't read the former budget. And I mean, they knew the numbers, so, I went through it and there was a lot of things that I picked up on really fast, so it's very legible.
That finance team continues to improve that data that you're getting to make it understandable. Again, like your budget to actual reporting has more detail than it's ever had.
Oh, yeah.
So the only way you'll ever be able to drill down to individual billings is you compile every one of these statements that we get here each month, but it's incredibly more detailed than it's ever been.
I'm not an accountant, but I've been around numbers all my life. And it's nice to have them in a format, since you don't have a degree in it, that you can understand it. Assets, liabilities, explained. So thank you.
That means a ton to us. What we do, core to what we do is trying to get the information from the municipalities in a way that is digestible to you, of course, but also to the public. So, yeah, thank you very much. And if there's more we can do in that way, we're happy to do it. And to your and if you're good with that point, I want to address your other question as well. So on the pension, we did discuss this in the meeting with the finance committee. If you wanted to, you can flip to page 50. Just shows the details of what I'll mention. So, as is very, very common, any entity, I'll say public entities in particular, that are involved in pensions have a net pension liability. That means the estimated liability is greater than the plan assets. And that is the case here, and I would say not by much. So what we discussed is, so back in time, in 2021, and this is as of 12/31, because that's the plan you're in. So 2021, the city actually had a plan asset, which is amazing. And that did flip to a liability in the past 3 years. Question is, well, what does that mean? Is that good, bad? What the state looks at, kind of the key metric they look at, is the third row from the bottom. That's the plan fiduciary net position as a percentage of the pension liability. So that percentage is as close to 100 as you can be is what you want. And the city was sitting at 96% for this year. So again, a few years ago, actually overfunded over 100. So 96, pretty good. There are, we talked about, well, does something need to be done? Talked about maybe there's the option to increase contributions if you felt like you had to do that. I would definitely consult with your advisors at MERS to see what your options are. They're the experts. They're there to help you.
And it's important for the board to know, much like your own retirement accounts, pensions are invested in secondary market funds. Those will fluctuate from time to time as the market performs. So depending on the investment pools that those are in. So.
And then Brian, typically where are a lot of other municipalities sitting at relative to us in this area?
Where are they sitting at? I want to say less. I haven't seen, I think once or twice in my career have I seen a planned asset. So you all had it a few years ago. I think it's hard for me to answer that exactly.
How does the state view somebody at 96% funded? Is that
Very
concerning from
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a threshold, and I don't quote me on what that is, but it's far from 100. It's closer to 50 or 60%.
And when I went to a MML my very first year, this was 8 years ago now, and when we had discussed the fact that we were even in the 90 percentile, most municipalities in that space, in that room, were flabbergasted. They couldn't believe that that was even a possibility. So, and then in continuing the research, it looked like the majority of them are anywhere from 70 to 80%. And so to see us consistently and at times above funded, that's a that's an indicator that working for this city is that there's a clear indicator of we're going to take care of the people who have a pension within this municipality. So
Excellent point.
I have one question, curiosity though. Now, does this mean that the fund is a good fund and it's growing with the market, or does this mean dollars that we're actually taking out of the tax coffers to keep this funded? Because it's always been well-funded for as long as I can remember.
They set our payments up based on variables, so they're looking at who we're gonna have retiring, what they think the market's gonna be, and MERS tells us what they think we should be putting in there each month to meet those obligations.
So being at these numbers gives us the advantage, I don't wanna take away from it by any means, but it gives us the advantage of not trying to catch up like so many.
A lot of communities, some of my former municipal clients are at 72%, and they're in that position of having to do makeup payments because of what they got retiring. So we're in a very strong
So
position.
we got a very strong base. Okay.
we're able to handle
We're
Question.
we're able to handle retirements and still run the city with our general fund. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we can take away from this is that we're consistently staying at a 90 plus percentile and still run the city with general funds that don't put us in the hole and running in the black. So, the book of faces who think we don't have everything together is really a misnomer. So.
You'll get it. I said, you'll get it.
I just got good news. I need retired. You guys can support me.
Everybody money there.
There's money here right
Yeah.
now. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but you can't win.
No, we just got you. You gotta stick around for a month.
Well, again, thank you. Any other questions?
No, thank you so much.
Brian, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate it. Like I said, I thought you were coming in with a box of donuts, but this is even better than that.
Better?
Yeah.
That sounds-
And I do appreciate the clear explanation. Dan hit the nail on the head. When you read through this audit and you're able to clearly understand what a net position is, what the variances were within the different funds, how those are applied, why we have a different net position than we did previously, and to see that the city is healthy and that we're heading in the right direction with funds available to function and the needs that we have is pretty amazing. So thank you.
One last thing, and it's often confused in the public. So the unmodified opinion, could you just give a
Yes.
Thank you.
statement on that?
Yeah, so the opinion that we provide, it says that the statements are fairly presented in accordance with all the many requirements of generally accepted accounting principles. And so modified, well, you might ask, well, what would it mean to modify it? If there were anything that was not accurate based on, in the statements, we would modify that opinion to say, well, it's fairly presented except for. Or there's a modified opinion, there's an adverse opinion, which means they're not fairly presented. Or if we weren't able to complete the procedures, we would have to disclaim an opinion, meaning we couldn't do the audit and cannot issue that opinion.
Mm.
So those are the options. And yes, the unmodified means all of what needed to be audited was audited and is fairly stated.
Yeah, so for municipalities and for the community who watches this, if you were to have an opinion that was of the latter statements, it would not sit well if they were paying attention, if the community was to be aware.
No, and you would hear from the state if
Very good.
if you had one of those.
Okay, just like to
On the
put
flip
those type
side
of
of
things
that
on
is-
record.
Are there consequences well? I mean, does it help with having a better score or not?
Not really, it just keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It keeps the barbarians at the other side of the gate.
That,
Thanks for that question.
yeah,
Thank you, Brian, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, appreciate it.
Have a good night.
And thank you to the finance department, thank you to staff.
Hard work going.
Yeah,
That's,
it's good to hear that we have
and it makes their
people
job
on
easier.
staff that are
Yeah, they're top notch, right?
knowledgeable.
And it makes their job much faster every year. Okay,
Well, I would move to accept the finance report dated June 30th, 2025 as presented.
thank you. Do we have support?
Support.
Discussion? Okay, roll call please.
George,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yep.
Whedon,
Yes.
and Swam.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Okay, at this time, we do not have any reports from departments, committees, or boards. We do not currently have any unfinished business. We will move on to new business.
Can I
Yes,
just
sir.
make one comment under reports?
Yep.
And I shared this with Calvin and Tony this week. The landfill completed their annual audit. Once again, stellar audit out at our local landfill authority. So if you'd like a copy, you can reach out to me or happy to reach out to Tony or Cal. It's on there for the record, so.
Landfill's doing well. I think
Continues,
we're,
yeah.
new gas service is in progress, right?
Yep, we're drilling more wells out there, so.
Yep.
You shouldn't smell anything, they're doing a good job.
They're
staying on top of it.
fantastic. Okay, moving on to new business, a wood chipper purchase. Consider approving the purchase of the Bandit Intermediator 12 XPC wood chipper from the Bandit Industries Incorporated, reflecting MI deal contract pricing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is a capital expenditure we had budgeted in the budget as we went through our priorities from last year. For our purchasing process, we went through the My Deal program, which is where we use the state of Michigan's pricing for various things. By going through the My Deal program, what would have normally been a $47,050 chipper, we're getting for $9,410 less. So it'll be $37,890 to buy this new chipper. And we do have this budgeted.
Okay. This time I'll take a motion on the purchase of the Bandit Intimidator.
I move to approve the purchase of the Bandit Intimidator 12 times PC wood chipper for $37,890 as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Very good.
I have
Ms.
one question.
Yes, sir.
The My Deal, what is that? Is that?
So it's the state of Michigan, it's My Deal program, and they make it available to the municipalities, the cities and the governments and the townships in the state. So, say, for example, I'll use salt. When the state of Michigan's buying salt for MDOT, they put it out to bids to contractors, and whatever contractor or contractors they select, we get to buy it at the same price they do. Or for this, the chipper, they say, hey, we're gonna need to buy chippers this year for DNR or whatever. They put out a bid for that, they get their little bid, and then they make that available to all the municipalities in the state of Michigan. So, under our purchasing policy, if we're not doing the bidding ourselves and going to get 3 bids, we can use the My Deal process because it's all been competitively bid by the state. And we're getting their pricing passed along to us.
Are we gonna
That's great.
try to keep our old wood chipper, or are we gonna recycle it?
I'm gonna let Mike speak to that, it's in pretty rough shape at this point.
I mean, it blows smoke really bad, it'll burn your eyes if you're close to it, it's seen its time. It had been here at 20 years when I got here, 22 years ago. So, its life expectancy is over. I mean, we could keep it around and do some things, but I would like to see it go in the auction, put the money
Yeah.
back into
You know,
reserve.
That's what I'm
we're
saying.
gonna get rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll dispose of it.
that's what we
It's
were.
not something we would keep around just to have on the shelf. It's we haven't had very many problems with our wood chipper.
It's done its job.
Yeah.
It's serviced for 40-some years.
20
sounds
years
like.
is
Yeah.
good life.
All the safety features have probably been bypassed by now.
Right. I was gonna say, cause years ago, I put a shovel through there, a metal shovel through there, so I mean, yeah. you
I
know,
think it was
they
when
got-
we purchased it when you started, right,
Yeah,
at the
probably
city?
close too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's outlived its usefulness and
Yeah.
we all know that. And selling it, at least we're getting something out of it and
For
it's
sure.
not sitting around down at the yard collecting rust.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay. With no further discussion, roll call please.
Money,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
and George.
Yes.
Very good. Moving on to item B, water reliability study update. Consider approving the proposal for Brown and Newhoff to update the water reliability study.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is something we're required to do from time to time as part of our Eagle licensing on our water system. We've asked Brian Newhoff, who our proposal on this, is the most familiar with our system. I can tell you from my time working in the consulting engineering industry before coming here, the price they presented to us is a very fair price compared to if we went out to bid. And we are very comfortable with staff recommending to you the approval of Brian Newhoff to do the water reliability study in the amount of $14,500.
Very good, thank you. I'll take a motion on the water reliability study.
I'll move to approve the reliability study update proposal from Prime Newhoff for $14,500 as presented.
Very good. Do we have support?
It's money, I'll support it.
Discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and Money.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on
Is
to.
there anybody,
Mhm.
excuse me, Your
That's all
Honor.
right.
Is there, I should have asked this before, is there anybody else that we can start looking at other than Prime Newhoff, so we have an option, or should we even think about doing that?
We can look at other firms if you guys would like, professional services firms on our purchasing, we don't have to go out competitive. I can tell you, in my previous life, we would have been $7,000 to $10,000 more for my old firm to do this study, so the pricing, I'm very comfortable with at the lower end of the marketplace, cost-wise,
So we're getting what we're,
very much so,
Okay.
yeah.
I think at one time, or early on, you mentioned it, at some point here, we'll probably narrow down our professional service
Do
firms.
a couple firms that we're gonna work with, that look
Yeah.
at proposals from both, and we do a job.
And, yeah.
That's what we're working towards.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item C, Victory Park Fund. Consider the establishment of the Victory Park Fund with Berrien Community Foundation and authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute the letter of agreement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is something we've been talking about for a few months now, as you know. A private benefactor of the Shallon Foundation of the St. Joseph area had approached us about wanting some playground equipment in there. We came up with some initial pricing, came up with the package. They've offered up the first $50,000 to that, to go into Berrien Community Foundation, the challenge grant on dollar for dollar. So when another $50,000 is raised through other private donations, or say we get a DNR grant, that $50,000 is released for playground equipment in the park there. So this just authorizes the fund to be set up and under the terms under which it'll be operated.
Outstanding. Okay, at this time, we'll take a motion on the Victory Park Fund.
This is money I would approve the establishment of the Victory Park Fund with the Berrien Community Foundation to receive and manage funds as presented.
Very good. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna say one thing, you know, what, 5 years ago now, when Patrick and I got on this board, Victory Park was one of the things that we discussed and we talked about. And actually now we've seen that come to fruition. And, with this grant from the Shallon Group, it even solidifies and makes it even more, sustainable. And I just wanted to say that simply because that was one of the things that Patrick and I talked about, when we were elected to this position. So, yeah, I'm in full support of this.
Well, then, his name's not on here, but somebody who deserves recognition,
Thank
and
you.
who would
I was
not
just gonna
have
say
for
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
is
say something.
Mr. James Busby.
Yeah,
Without him,
James.
this benefit, we would not, it
He
would not be
has-
here without his influence.
He has spearheaded this effort, and is a passion project, and his personal relationship with these funders is what has made this happen.
Amen.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
and Bianski.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to item D, e-citation access annual contract. Police Department consider approving the purchase of an annual e-citation access contract with LexisNexis. LexisNexis. I knew I could do it. Just had to. Tonight on the evening news, LexisNexis. Yeah, for 3 in-car printers for the police department.
Thank you, Mr.
You're
Mayor.
welcome.
Chief can answer any detailed questions here, but as you know, we've gone to an e-ticketing program in our police cars now, which really gets us really the standard that most other departments are doing. What this is the contract service, because we all know that's everybody makes money now, for our new systems to connect with LexisNexis and pull information out of it. Did I summarize that accurately, Chief?
Correct.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Okay, I'll take a motion on the LexisNexis proposal.
This is money. I've moved to approve the purchase of the e-citation contract with LexisNexis for $2,814.30 as presented.
Very good. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Discussion?
Just one question. I mean, this was in your authority to approve it?
Yeah, just as part of the work package, we wanna keep you guys in front of
Okay.
what we're doing, yes, it's under 5,000, I could've, but
Alright.
it's been part of the broader new e-system we were doing, so that's why we brought it before you.
Understood, thank you.
That's a transparency thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yep.
and Whedon.
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to item E, early voting agreement. Approve the draft early voting agreement with Marion County for the 2026 election cycle and authorize the city clerk, Langston Weiss, to execute the document on behalf of the city of Buchanan.
Hi. So, 'tis the season, 2026, coming up with elections. My hope was at some point that City of Buchanan will be running their own early voting.
Yeah.
Well, the election cycle requires us every 10 years to buy new equipment. We are at the end of it. So 2027, I have to buy all new equipment, tabulators, bats. They're price tag about $5,000 each, so we're talking 4 tabulators, 3 bats, a new ballot on-demand system, and probably some new e-poll books as well, because the state is going to more electronic version, which is really cool with the, wait till that comes out, it's great. But with that, when we were looking at it, it's not really cost effective by any means for us to buy all that equipment when I literally have to buy them again in 2027. Unfortunately, there was some talk with the county moving early voting to the city of Buchanan at the EP building. We are still waiting for that to happen. We're hoping in 2028 that is possible. As of right now, County Clerk Laura Porter has got Emmanuel Lutheran in Bridgman, their gymnasium. She is cutting it down to 1 location for the whole county and not 2. So that's a cost savings right there, less tabulators, less resources, less overtime for her staff as well. So I'm asking that we go into agreement with Berrien County for 2026. This is only a year agreement. We'll reestablish in 2027 and see where we're at.
Is it beneficial, I talked to you, I mean, as far as the early voting, wouldn't it just be better to stay with them?
To me, it's more about turnout. Okay, so if you're coming in to pay your water bill here at City Hall, and we're offering 9 days of in-person early voting from the hours that we're open, you're probably gonna come vote. Cost effective wise, depending on what grants come out in 2028, that will be a benefactor, and I'll bring it back through to you guys and say, hey, these are the grants I can get for new equipment. Usually every 10 years, they do offer some granting through the state. So I'm hoping that they'll put in early voting with that. The biggest cost is going to be the staffing for those 9 days. We have to have 3. My plan was to take at least 2 of our employees and pull them over here and then hire a 3rd election worker. Then that way we're already paying our staff anyways to be here. Might as well, that's what Benton Harbor Charter does, and it worked out really well for them. It's really, Bridgman's quite a bit of a drive for us because there's no easy way to get there.
Yeah.
But we did only have 300 people go to the Niles courthouse during early voting for the presidential election.
Right.
So,
Is
do I
it-
think they're gonna go to Bridgman? Probably not.
Is it one of those things in 2027, when we talk about it,
Yes.
we could create a
Well, and obviously I'm still the deputy clerk at Bertrand Charter Township, so pretty much Dave and I have talked a lot, as long as with Cheryl too. The biggest thing I worry about that is with Cheryl being such a new clerk,
Sure.
it is going to fall onto me, and mine is going to be my problem if something happens, which
Fair.
makes me a little bit nervous at times to have that full capacity of other townships on my shoulders. If there's ever a problem, like there was problems in the presidential election
Yeah.
over, and then it comes down to the city, and that makes me a little bit nervous. Niles Charter and Niles City are going on their own this year, so they have decided they're not doing it, they're staying on their own. They're completely separate too on top of it.
Oh, they're not.
They're not going together.
What do, that's an interesting question.
It was, I thought my first was like Niles City, Niles Charter Township, even there too, just because of the staffing that they have.
Yeah.
And they've had clerks there, I mean, Angie's been there for 30 years, deputy clerk, she's ran every election you could think of. Just to have that backup, it's something I will definitely bring to the table to you guys and see if we wanna take on that liability, because if something happens, it's gonna be our name in the papers, to be honest. So, I don't see anything happening, but I know how to run an election, I've never had a problem, but working with other voters makes me a little nervous sometimes.
2026, according to the new Secretary of State candidates that I met this weekend,
Yeah,
everything's gonna be peachy the day after the election.
I doubt it. And here's the thing, your
I know
candidates
it.
have never ran an election or worked it as an election
I know.
worker or done anything,
I
so
know.
that's where I was.
I know, but they were all
Unfortunately-
smiling and they were going, I'm gonna do this.
Unfortunately, that's the biggest problem with the Secretary of State's right now is the candidates out there have never ran an election. And they're supposed to change it and
I
make it
think he
better.
got one, but
Yeah. But,
he did not win the straw poll, so
Yeah.
there was another one that was more favorable.
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, the agreement is the one big cost, if you did see in August, it was a little heavier on our cost wise, that's because of the notices. So the county, we have to notify you that your precinct has changed, for early voting. So the county is taking that on to send out to all of our voters, but are charging us for the postage and the actual postcard, so.
Do you wanna talk about 1 and 2 precincts right now? or
So
not?
that was what, cost saving wise, we were looking at coming down, because now that they've changed the law for 5,000 registered voters, I can combine the precincts. I can't do that now. That would be a call that I would have to make to Matt and Mark to have a meeting and then bring it in front of the commission for an ordinance change. But that would have to be done after the 2026 election and start in 2027, and we would have one precinct and save some money that way.
Just bring everybody here.
Yep.
probably.
How does that work in your state politics then, do you know, Callan?
It won't matter for us, because
So
we don't.
would you still have 2 precincts as far as delegates or something like that?
The delegates would be the biggest change, but
That would be a change, so you'd only have.
yeah.
okay.
But I still think the numbers would stay the same, just because we're not losing any registered
Yeah,
voters.
you probably have the same number of delegates.
And there's been quite a few clerks that have combined. We thought about, actually, I talked to Stacy Porter, and we talked about maybe this year actually doing a trial run without changing the ordinance, because I can actually combine. You'd still be the same precinct, but you'd have, and 2 tabulators would be in the same location, but you would all go to the one place to see how that would work, to see if it's able to be done. My worry about City Hall is there's just not a lot of space here, so.
But we can still do it.
That's where we were talking, Tony and I would set up a satellite office for myself over there, so that they wouldn't have to come to City Hall on election day for registered, voter registration. I would be located there all day, and then we would just cut City Hall completely out, and everybody would be at precinct 2, so. We're working through it, but,
There'd be substantial cost savings over
Mhm.
too.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah.
I like the
I
sound
do
of that.
too. Like it.
Well, we knew it was bad when they put it on the frickin' ballot.
There's that.
Okay, roll call, please.
So I need
Did
a
we
motion.
get a motion?
We
Yeah,
need
did
a
you
motion.
didn't you guys get so?
I would move
Wait,
to
we're not
authorize
following rules.
Clerk
No,
Langston Weiss
this
to
is what happens
execute
is
the
you
early
guys-
voting
we get-
agreement with Berrien County as presented.
I second it.
I'm sorry.
The
Mr.
one
Mayor.
time, the one time. See, you guys get me in the cadence and then throw me off.
That's
Alright,
us, that's us.
roll
So-
call, please.
George.
Try to keep it in.
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
and Swam.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item F, resolution 2026.01/01. Consider the resolution placing the Coy Creek Trail Committee under the supervision of the bar.
You gonna do it or you want me to?
Please, you're on a roll right now.
Okay, so Tony and I have been working on and we're actually gonna call you guys here pretty soon for a meeting and talk about these boards. This was the first one, this was the easiest one. The trail was totally okay with going under Barb, they went in front of Barb okayed it as well. That way that they're going to Barb quarterly, communicating with them, and then that way Barb can come back to us.
I like
We're trying to, we talked about it with trees would like to stay with planning commission, some of the other boards under the DDA, trying to get communication lower and maybe quarterly, and then having them report yearly to you guys, so. But that made the most sense for Trail to be with Barb.
And is this, they're not an official board?
Right, they're technically a subcommittee, but I will tell you this, the Trail is one board that follows everything to a T with minutes, postings, everything.
Love that.
They're always on it, minutes are to me in 8 days, posted like pending minutes, everything, agendas, Jerry always has them into me, so,
He's raised more money than any other
Yes.
committee out there too.
they have been fantastic about it, and then I think they probably do with their trail system is working with Barb with planting options as
Mhm.
well, I think it's gonna be a big thing,
It's a
and
good
then that way,
combination.
they're reporting not only to you guys all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but they're talking to Barb as well, so.
Perfect. Okay,
I'll move to approve resolution 2026.01/01 as presented.
thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Money,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swim,
Yes.
and George.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item G, expenditures. Consider approving expenditures for January 26th.
There's only a couple that Tony and I talked about that, they always kinda irk me. I was glad to see that management gets random tested too, occasionally.
Occasionally.
Well, I never, as a truck driver, I didn't think they did. And, I
always
mean,
did.
I never thought they did.
I
So,
hold the license.
It was a shock. But the expense, it wasn't so much that, but the expense, it just, it burns me. I mean, you give a couple ounces in a cup, they stick a thing in it, and that's it. And they charge you $400. Bothers me. And then the railroad was the next one that Tony said, we probably should stay very quiet on this because it's very cheap. But, being oil field past, the railroad hates everybody. They hate truck drivers, they hate oil field, they hate social security system, they hate everybody. And they're very noisy about it, and they get everything they've gotten free. Everything they have ever gotten, every other acre, and they collect rent on railroad crossings from every railroad crossing in this country. So, that's the only two things that I wanted to raise, and I squawk about it every chance I get whenever I see the railroad crossing thing, but, there's nothing you can do about it. And I will move to approve expenditures in the amount of $124,386.58.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swim,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and Money.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We do not have any communications. We can move on to public comments for non-agenda items only. Please approach the podium, state your name for the record, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, seeing nobody approach the podium. Executive comments.
Just a couple quick things, just a reminder everybody that began the first week of February, we'll be changing city hall hours to 7:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night, Monday through Thursday, and 7:30 to 11:30 on Fridays. That way people can have the opportunity to come in here even when they're not at their regular work hours, trying to create some additional accessibility for people. The only other thing, we had a great audit report tonight, finance team goes great, overall, we have an amazing staff here, couldn't be happier. A couple I wanted to point out, Harvey over the past year, what he has done with the police department, developing the staff there, you look at where we were at overtime a year ago and all the things what he's done there, and what he's done with building staff and the capacity, and impressive. And Mike and his team, I've lost how many days straight of snow we've had to deal with, but
Unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, you go through a lot of communities and our roads are as good or better shape than anybody out there in the county right now.
Go to Niles this morning and
down once. We made it through 7.5-ish, 7 3/4 times.
I knew he was gonna, yeah. It's still city manager's comments, please. You're good.
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Bianski, since you wanted to take the seat, go ahead.
Well, I personally talked to Fran, I'm really glad to, thank you to her for the service at the chamber and on the DDA. I served with her on the TDA. Don't bank with her, but I know several people that do. Snow, Mike. I don't really often set, but it is. And the city actually did a pretty good job. I mean, the people of the city did a pretty good job of getting it cleaned up too. I don't do this at all, but I had a grandson today that went out and made $100 with a shovel.
Heck yeah.
So he was pretty tickled and he had all kinds of ways he was gonna spend it. And he wasn't happy with Grandpa when I told him he should save 90 of it. So that went over like a lead balloon, yeah, I know. But, I mean, it's gonna be cold for the next week, I don't know how much more we're gonna get, but this is a good winter. But, thank you.
Very good. Mr. Munn?
Yeah, excuse me. I wanna start out saying congratulations to Harvey and his crew. You guys do an outstanding job. You're always gonna hear the static, but, when you go to the front page and you look at the officers and what they've done here within our community in the last year or so, these different awards, pretty impressive for a small town, my opinion. So I can't thank Harvey and, all of our police department for everything that they do. Excuse me. Had a great audit, and it's always great when our people get recognized as being, a little bit, or quite a bit, more intelligent and able to understand, and, that really says a lot for, the people that we have working, our staff that we have working here, starting with our city manager and going down to the janitor. So, that's really great. The Victory Park thing, like I stated before, that's a really great improvement. The DPW, I know, there's a lot of static going around, and I realize that, I push my leaves out into the street so they get plowed up and it clogs up my snow blower and I can't get my sidewalks clean. But, I know you guys are out there every morning because I hear you at 4:30, 5 o'clock banging plows on Tiraku. And I just wanna say, you guys are doing a great job. I watched our cemetery crew Saturday morning when it was sub-zero temperatures out there. I don't know where that funeral came from, but those guys were, they were doing it. And so I can't say enough for Mike and his crew. You take that back and give it to them. And,
I'll let the janitors know.
yeah, even though you didn't get the leaves picked up, and it clogged up my snow blower and I couldn't get my, but anyway, I got by that, so, thanks again for everything. Thanks again for this commission for all that they do. I know there are people out there that think every one of us should be thrown off and, somebody different put on here, and we're coming into an election time, so I'd love to see how many applications we get for this job. It's gonna be, real exciting, so, once again, thanks to everybody for everything that you do. Thanks for all of these guys, and just wanna throw this in, I did see where, the city commissioners apparently get their driveways plowed out, but it seems like you've missed mine.
Yeah, mine too.
So,
Mine too.
next snowstorm, I would appreciate if you get my driveway taken care of.
They plow it in like everybody else's, but
Yeah.
I haven't had them take it
Yeah, I
out
just get
yet.
it cleaned out and it gets plowed back in.
I don't know if anybody realizes it or not, but my job is to plow from the center of the street to the side of the street, on every street. That is how the plow works.
Yeah, I just, whoever put that out there, man, they definitely were missing mine.
But yeah, like I said, you missed mine.
I'll remember that, Larry. You've got something coming. Don't worry.
Dump truck full of
Yeah,
snow.
right.
You're gonna be moving snow tomorrow.
You got it.
Last time I did.
Somehow that cemetery just got pushed all the way across the street.
No, we got all this snow in downtown.
Oh, I'm
All
sure.
there by
It
the
just
truckload.
Okay, Miss George?
Yes, yeah, I just kinda wanna echo what Larry said, with the audit. It can seem like numbers are just thrown at you and you're just trying to take it all in, but it is, it's really been easier to read, and, I mean, I feel like it's probably been better to read 2024 and 2025, but, and just learning it, whatever, but, it's good to see that, and it's a successful audit. I deal with those a little bit at work, and so, people are always calling me to be like, oh, reach out to your clients, make sure they're getting this and this and this to us, and they're reaching out 3 and 4 times, so, and that's super frustrating for me, so and I don't even have to go into it as deep as they all do, but, I think that's super, commendable, and I think that all the staff, that's amazing, so, and a good job to Courtney for her excellence in that and trying to learn every year, very commendable, so, congratulations to all the police officers. I think it's great that we take the time to honor them in their daily works, and, making sure that they know that we appreciate them, so, great job, and that was fun to see, and that's great, so, my other thing is I wanna say thank you to the DPW for all of that you guys have to endure, and getting our roads plowed and staying safe. And then my last thing is to Fran. She's not here tonight, but I just wanted to take a minute and honor her. I wanted to say thank you for her service of all the years of implementing hard work, dedication, and commitment to both the DDA and the Chamber of Commerce. Altogether, she has dedicated well over 50 years of service to our community. She's been an advocate for a better Buchanan, and I just want to thank her for all that she's given throughout the years, and wish her the very best in this season, so with that,
Mr. Swim?
Yeah, I didn't have a long speech prepared for Fran today, but, you know, I've served with Fran on various boards, mainly the chamber, for the last decade, known her for, seems much longer. Fran is not gone from everything, she still serves on our farmer's market board, and will continue to volunteer throughout this community, so much more Fran, just maybe in one less official role, so, stay tuned, I'm sure there will be a larger recognition for her one of these days. I know there will be, so. Everybody's talked heavily, we had a great audit presentation, the work that goes into that, the monthly meetings, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Just fantastic job to that team, really proud of them. To our police crew, the officers that were recognized today, thank you, Harvey, that's when we have the opportunity to have them in front of us and honor them. I'm glad you did that, so thank you, and they're worth it, we've got a great team here. Snowplow team, busting their butt, love those guys. Also, thank you for making sure I continue to get special treatment with my leaves and my driveway. Sarcasm.
That'll be up on the book faces.
I said sarcasm.
They missed that part.
Context.
Yeah.
Let's see. Annual budget workshop, I imagine we'll be hearing about that not too distant future, now that January's coming to an end. Cal sent us an email already that I'm sure we'll all need 3 more reminders on related to Tony's review, so.
I got one back already, one of them.
Well, it wasn't me, so it was, good job whoever did that, probably Raquel. But, last but not least, as you saw in Tony's email update today, the Southwest Regional Chamber somebody nominated City of Buchanan for Community Impact Award for our downtown project that was completed. If you haven't been to that event, I encourage you to reach back out to Tony, get his probably one of the top 2 networking events city or county-wide to attend. Lots of movers and shakers will be there. Lots of representation from industry, other municipalities. So I highly encourage you to attend and show up. Plus, you can only vote if you're present. So that
Hosted
means
at LMC, correct?
at LMC. Yeah, it's first thing in the morning, and then you get breakfast.
What was the start time of that?
It's usually 7:30.
7:30.
I would encourage you to get there about 7, 10, or 7. So get there early.
Cancel my ticket.
I knew as soon as he said it, I was like, cancel my ticket. Don't even worry about that. That would be one you want to go to. You definitely want, Dan, that would definitely want to go to.
Zoom.
Yeah, never mind, never mind.
Yeah, zooming.
That is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Well, the beauty of going last, amazing audit, absolutely amazing. I mean, for them to have, that type of comment about the city and for her to know what Gatsby 101 was, and I still don't know what it is, and I had to write it down 3 times just to make sure I got it correct, but, to the finance team, amazing work, like to have them come into the finance meetings and meet with Tony and I, and to really have no fear and to have ultimate confidence about everything they're doing, down to the penny, to reconcile to every month, to Patrick's heart. It just probably makes him giddy every time that they can do that. Harvey, as always, you know my admiration and appreciation for everything that you and the staff do up there at the police. You guys are part of the community, or a peace force. I do believe that we have some of the best community police department individuals out there. They do not just hang out in town just to catch people doing wrong. They're doing things right, and they're in their part, and they're out and they're seen. So thank you so much for that. Mike, you and your team, man, everybody said it tonight. These guys, I was out doing the driveway, guys stopped and apologized after he drove by once, and I had just got done and they had to plow it all back in. And he stops and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, man, you gotta do your job, man. It's just, it is what it is. I was just happy you were out there and I was out there at the same time so I could just get it done. So, man, they're all over the place. We got compliments. Patrick and I were out at the landfill board, and they really do appreciate everything the city's doing. They said they wish that the county would have that much attention to detail on the streets and outside of our city. So please pass that on to your team, everybody. It really is, outside of what you may believe or not believe, but what you may hear on the streets, you guys are awesome, man. Thank you. You guys are, we cannot say enough how the way you clean the streets. So what else? I don't know. So many things, you guys.
They stop and
Oh my
say
God.
something to you, but they honk their horn at me and speed up.
It's always something, Larry. Here they get your driveway clear and it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't really have anything else. Thank you guys for everything. The city is just it's so great to be part of this community and to have things done right and done well. That's what makes these meetings so quick. So, with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. That's it.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I know you got it.
All right, everybody get out of here so Kyle can go home.